Following that breaking news this morning, the Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle resigning. That officially confirmed now, planning to step down.
Of course, it follows the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Joining us now, Jason Miller, senior advisor to President Trump. Jason, thanks for taking the time. Let's start with the breaking news of the day. Kim Cheatle resigning from her post as Director of Secret Service. Your thoughts on that and what it means for the department?
Absolutely. And I'd point you immediately to what President Trump just put on Truth Social, which was the Biden-Harris administration did not properly protect me, and I was forced to take a bullet for democracy. It was my great honor to do so. So that's what President Trump just put out moments ago. But I want to go back to yesterday's hearing for a moment here, when how the heck does Cheatle even stay in that job for a week and a half after this assassination attempt without taking any responsibility, without saying any clear actions that were going to be done to correct the situation, to make sure something like this doesn't happen again? And again, to watch Kimberly Cheatle sit in that chair yesterday, being grilled over and over with no answers, no remorse, no cognitive awareness. This was a massive problem that they tried to assassinate the former and future president of the United States. It was just mind-boggling.
Yeah, again, pointing to Jason Miller, him pointing to the Truth Social post from former President Donald Trump and the presidential nominee, the Republican presidential nominee, putting out his official statement right after the breaking news on that. And I wanted to kind of stay on that point, Jason, because as you rightfully pointed out, that she did not resign right after this assassination attempt. Remember that 3 bystanders were hit. 1 lost his life protecting his family in the bleachers behind Trump at the rally in Butler, PA. The former president himself was hit by a bullet. Cheatle called this the most significant failure in decades. But in many Americans' minds, and I would vouch to say just about everyone watching this in bipartisan fashion would say, if you got into this rally with a gun, that is a failure. But being able to land a bullet on the president and again 3 others in the crowd, that's far past a failure. Refusing to resign, she gives testimony, and then not 24 hours later, she decides now is the time to step down. Is she making her own decisions? Yeah. Did someone force her to do that?
Well, I mean, again, why wasn't it done a week ago? I mean, the fact of the matter is that Joe Biden has been MIA. Kamala Harris has been MIA. I guess she's now the Democrat nominee for president. Nobody is in charge of our country right now. That is the problem. If you think this is an issue, what do you think Putin is doing right now? What do you think Xi is doing right now? What do you think that the radicalists that are being funded by Iran are doing right now? They're looking at us up and down like we're a slab of meat, that we're there to be taken advantage of. And it's just the tip of the iceberg for what I worry could be at play here for the United States. But again, as we talk about Cheatle in the failures and incompetence from her, I also want to make very clear that the agents that President Trump has protecting him, the Secret Service detail is with him at all times. President Trump believes that they are patriots, that they put their lives on the line for the president any moment. They're the good guys and gals. But some of this leadership clearly had to go. But why, again, does Kimberly Cheatle have to go through this humiliating experience like yesterday to finally wake up and realize maybe it's time to go and step aside? You know, Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez was in Butler just yesterday and was up on the roof and came down and did a press conference with some of the other members of the committee. And they were just shaking their heads saying, how is this not considered part of the perimeter? Clearly, at the top, there are some structural issues that had to be addressed. And my question is, I'm wondering if it's just Cheatle that has to go, because you would think that there were others who were equally as incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because she did testify that she didn't even oversee the plans for this rally in Butler. So who did that?
Right, absolutely. We don't have the answers, and she didn't provide them yesterday. Jason Miller, thank you so much for taking the time reacting to this breaking news here on National Report. We appreciate it.